Welcome back everybody to part 2 of my camp light video. If you didn't catch part 1, I will put it up in whichever corner it pops up in, where I install the AUXBEAM 8-gang switch panel. For this one is part 2, where I go ahead and install the rock lights that we talked about on there. Fortunately, I was able to pull into the garage. It is, according to the weather app, 29 degrees out right now in Colorado. My thermometer doesn't even want to read the degrees anymore. I do want to send out a special thank you to AUXBEAM for reaching out. They did reach out to me to collaborate on a video. I gave them the idea of this camp light setup using the rock lights that I wanted to do, and they were on board, offered to help. So they did go ahead and send me these rock lights right here to test out. For what I wanted to do, I needed 2 of the 4-pack rock light setups, coming with 2 Bluetooth controllers, if that focuses. There we go. So each of the 4-pack comes with its own Bluetooth controller. My plan is to put them up on the hatch here for shining down. That way it can shine down on my drawer and camp kitchen area. And then I want to do 4 on the roof rack pointing down at an angle. For the roof rack, I will be using these little angled brackets that I've been making. Similarly to the switch panel mount that I was prototyping, this is the same. We'll be up on the site once I get that set up. But I want to work out the kinks and make sure these all work well for the application before I do that. On top of the controller, and each one came with 4 lights. I believe they have a 4, 8, and a 12 pack, which are nice aluminum, waterproof. So these will be perfect for what I need. And they should be, testing off the switch panel, they should be plenty bright for what I need as well. But they also came with 2 different style mounts. One looks like if you were to mount it to looks like a roll cage or something, more of like a UTV application. And then a couple flat bases. So these are what I will be using for the hatch up here to shine down. And I'll be using the custom ones I made for my Sherpa rack. I made them at a 30-degree angle. Don't know how that'll spill the light, if that's the right angle or not. It kind of eyeballing it, it looked about right. So that's what I went with. I'm going to get the wood stove going. It's only going to get colder, and then I'm going to start routing this stuff. So I went ahead and downloaded the app, and it was pretty much the exact same thing as the switch panel. Just scan a QR code in the directions and it pops up with this. Automatically it actually detected the unit. I didn't have to do anything. So it showed up in the list off here on the side. It shows it's unbroken because I have the power off. If I go and turn on the switch panel, I could turn it on from the app. This is exactly what I was looking for. Turn it on, light turns on. Turn it off, light turns off. So I can do that from anywhere within camp. So for this, I'll turn it on, go back to the Happy Lighting app. It reconnects, and I can go and change all the colors. It gets fairly bright. So quickly going through this, I mean, you can set it to different things, I don't know. I won't play the music just so I don't get flagged on YouTube. You can do it to microphone. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Green pulsing, let's speed it up so we can see. So there's different modes you can do with all these. Yellow pulsing. Oh, can we do, is there rainbow jumping? You have party. For what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep it on a solid light. So you can actually have these in multiple items in one group too. Let's see if I go into my devices. Let's see, group manage, change the name. So this is going to be side camp lights, right side. So it renames it, which is awesome. Let's see, go back. So now if I go into my thing, it does show right side camp lights. So when I tie in the other one, I can do it. I wasn't sure if you needed to have access to the Bluetooth controller because it has a QR code on it. Doesn't look like you need to. You just power it up and it finds it, which is awesome. As long as you allow they're durable too. As long as you allow the app to find devices that it's looking for, that's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt these to the rack using my brackets that I made. And then I'm going to run the power wires down to the fuse box. Pretty simple. I'm going to have it all kind of strung up top. Nothing wild and crazy. When I go through and change my mounts, these are just printing out a PLA, which are not UV resistant. So I'm going to print them out of ASA once I get them all fine-tuned, and then those will be UV resistant, and that'll be the permanent setup that I do for the Sequoia. They'll work out. So let's get them mounted up on the roof. Okay, after some frozen hands and about 600 zip ties, I got all the wire there. Each rock light has about 9 feet, and I didn't want to cut it yet. Not that you have to. Once I get the permanent mounts in there, I'm going to cut all the wire for each light to length where it needs to be. It's just like a 4-wire LED wire. If you look that up, you find some to extend it. I'm going to cut them to size. That way it just looks a little cleaner. Right now there's a lot of wire up there, but I zip tied it. So now I have from the controller, I have my red and black. A little bit overkill on wire size, but it's what I had. It doesn't need to be this thick, but I'll be running it down the windshield and then right into the fuse box here. It's pretty simple once you get everything mounted, which was the hard part. And it's like 25 degrees now. My hands are frozen, so I had to go to gloves, but we'll get this. Just gotta chase it down the windshield and then tie those in, and then my side lights are done. All right, fingers crossed it works. Switch panel. They turn on. Green. Let's change the color. Let's see, they're linked. It's RGB mode, that's why. So when you turn on the standard light, because it uses all the colors to make the light, you see glimpses of red, green, and blue, depending on where you're looking at it. So that is the one thing I noticed. Like when I look straight back, it does look red. I could just turn it blue. That works too. For RGB, red light. Awesome. Let's go see how it does in the dark though. Those seem to work. Still have to do the back hatch, but not tonight. It's cold. Can't even talk. Mouth is numb. It's 23 degrees out right now. So I'm gonna go inside and warm up, and we'll come back out tomorrow and finish this up. All right, see you tomorrow. Well, that didn't go according to plan. It decided to snow. It's still 22 degrees out. Gotta get this done. So double jacket, thermals, and a barn. So hopefully, gonna pull the Sequoia back into the barn and keep going on the back. So for a couple different reasons, I'm going to mount these back lights more in a temporary configuration. One of those reasons being the holiday kind of had a issue pop up. Normally I would board the dogs if I'm doing a long trip, but they conveniently lost my reservation. So in a scramble of changing things around, I am now going on a big road trip versus flying to where I am, and the dogs are coming with me. So we'll be going on a camping trip coming up. Gonna try to break up my drive over a bunch of days, go hiking, camp, stuff like that, kind of go explore. But on top of the holiday snafu that I had, mostly it's time. I have to basically finish this tonight in a couple hours, routing wires and everything like that. And I won't be able to do it properly the way I like to, and I don't want to rush it. So I'm gonna kind of do it temporary. Another part of that is I don't exactly know where I want to put these to maximize output, and going on this camping trip is going to let me use them and figure out angles if I want to make a mount to rotate them a certain way. A lot of times you can have lights cross each other to kind of spill and hit the blind spots on it. If you just point everything down, you have shadows all below you, but if you cross them, it kind of catches the shadows under this light, and this one catches the shadows under this light. I want to experiment with that a little bit. while I'm out actually camping and using it and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of just place these. I haven't decided if I'm going to do double-sided tape or Velcro or what to get these in. And I was also thinking on these two, I'd have two on the hatch up here on both sides, and then this one probably, I'm thinking doing it on the truck side. That's kind of my thought process. One thing I do know for sure is I have this little access panel here, and that's where I'm going to try to locate the Bluetooth controller, which means first things first, I need to run the two wires to feed power to this from the passenger side all the way back and across to this back panel. So I think I'm going to go through the firewall where I did the wire for the switch mount and follow that around, go down the panels, and then just keep it all inside. And then when I string the wires to here, the final result will be probably through the grommet and feed it through. Due to time, I might just kind of string it across and sticky tape it into position just to see how I want it. Not ideal, not what I wanted to do, but due to time and wanting to use these before I actually go camping, that's kind of what I'm going to do. And then when I get back, I'll have to clean it up. Either way, I'm going to run those wires across and down, and hopefully this goes a little quicker than the roof rack did last night. It's 21.4 degrees. It's a little cold. So something I do use is this wire loom tape. It sticks really well to itself, not to anything else. It's easy to peel off, unlike electrical tape. Does not leave that residue behind. So I'll just kind of wrap this around the wire as I'm feeding it down the door sill, just to keep the wires bundled together. But yeah, I started using this and I really love it. Since I feed the dogs, and I came across some Velcro strips, so I'm actually going to be using these to temporarily mount it. I'm hoping they stick in the cold. We'll see. I'll bring some double-sided tape in case it's not. That'll allow me to move and manipulate the lights just to see where the perfect spot is. I don't want to just set it and forget it. It's kind of like my roof rack thing there. I did them at 30 degrees. They might need more. Time will tell. I want to use the truck in an actual camp environment before I fully lock them in. I'm going to pull that off, get the controller mounted, and then we'll start running all the lights. First, I have to check to make sure that it is recognized through the switch panel before I start closing too much stuff off. So you want to line up the arrows, do the little screw. So first thing we want to do is go into the switch panel, make sure it's on and connected. Cargo lights turn on, default blue. Now we'll go to the Happy Lighting app, and this is it. So let's go to Group Manage. Let's call this rear cargo. Okay, and then go back. Let's see if we can change the color. Yes, we can. So when I did the, oh geez, that's bright. Let's turn that down a little bit. One thing I did notice, so when you put it on, oh, there we go. Just kind of comes out a white light when you're straight on. But you can tell in this screen here, because they're RGB lights, you will get the different colors because there's 3 different LEDs in there. So you will get that. Now, if you're using it as rock lights, you're never going to notice that, or minimally, if at all. But because these lights are all going to be exposed, if you, let's see if I can get it to do it. Yeah, so that looks green. That looks orangish red. Yeah, so you just see as I turn this thing around, it changes colors even though it's the same constant color light. So all 3 LEDs are on at the same time. So depending on which way you're looking at it from an exposed situation, Like when I was testing them last night, they looked pink from a certain angle. Fortunately, I lined them all up the same way, so they all looked pink. But that is just it's an aesthetic thing. The light itself shines the color. I mean, let's see if I can. So it's set to like a white color here. So if I change it to a blue, that's RGB. But we can hit the standard here, and that on me, it looks like that's the color light that I actually want it to look at when I'm doing it at night. It's a soft yellow, unless I'm, want it kind of not obstruct my vision. I can do red. Then it's literally, there's only the red lights on, which is nice. So I'll probably have that on a lot at camping just to kind of not mess with my vision at night. How well that actually works with one of these, I mean, I'm assuming red light's red light. Correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong. Is there a different type of red light that changes the way, or is it just as long as it's color red, it doesn't obstruct your vision? I'm actually curious. I would think it wouldn't make a difference, but I want to know. So that is something to consider if you're choosing an RGB style light. There's plenty of other style lights on AUXBEAM's site. If you go down below, I do have the link to their site. They do have other style rock lights as well, more of like panel, but these are just their RGBs. And I specifically wanted that so I can change it to a red with the same light. So it's just kind of what comes with it, but I figured I'd mention it. Any brand out there, any RGB that has the 3 styles, they shine 3 different colors to blend and make the color you want. So that's just how it is. I am going to finish fastening this up, get it on, and then I'm going to just kind of string these up, Velcro them in place. Fingers crossed they stay. And then, yeah, and then we'll do a quick little test, just see how much light it spills down. All right, so we are out here camping in Utah, and when I looked at some of the footage that I was doing when I was installing the lights on the back hatch, my audio cut out. So I'm going to kind of fill in the gaps with what I did. I didn't know where I wanted to permanently place these lights in the back hatch. I have the 2 there, and then I have 2 on the inside. I wasn't too sure where I wanted to put them, so I wanted to do it on a temporary basis. Go out camping, make sure. I didn't know if I had to angle them certain ways to kind of fill the light. So what I ended up doing was just literally Velcroing these things in place and running across. I had to do these little cable tie holders. They weren't sticking because it was like 19 degrees in the garage. So I had to take a heat gun and kind of hold it on it just to heat the glue up, just to get it to stick. It's sticking, I'm surprised, but just zip tied it. All these wires are going to be ran through the panels. I just didn't know where I wanted them yet, and I didn't want to drill holes in them. So I just kind of did wire loom across the back, and then this light here, I just tucked it real quick here. It'll be more permanent, like I said. And then I'm running it down into this panel where my Bluetooth controller is at. As far as how much light it outputs, it's perfect. It's just the right amount. Last night I was able to go into the tent and then use the app for the switch panel and turn off the lights. I didn't have to go into the tent with the lights off, which was nice. It was close enough that the Bluetooth connected on it. As far as light spill and everything like that, it was perfect. Can't complain. So I'll try, as I'm recording this, I'm on my way to California. So I'm seeing my family for the holidays. So we are making a road trip out. Originally I was trying to fly, but that didn't work out due to reservation boarding issues with the dogs. So I decided to drive, do the 1,000+ mile drive. Gave me a good chance to test out the lights in a real environment, not just in my garage. So now I know everything works as planned. I'll go through, and I'm actually going to shorten the wires. So I will cut those to length, solder them up, and heat shrink them back. So that way it just keeps things tidy. If you kind of look, I couldn't really show it when I was in the garage. Move stuff out of the way. You see I just kind of have a bundle of wires down there. So I want to clean all that up, cut them to length now that I kind of know where I want them situated and that everything works. And that will help me extend as needed. If I have to extend any of these, I can, to route it, because I want to try to route it through this little loom for the hatch here. All right, so we're going to cut into some night footage so you can see what these look like at nighttime. As you can see, I got all my lights on, all the sides, back hatches, temporarily placed as I showed before. So this is pretty much the color pattern that I was going to run. It gives it that nice yellow warm look. The only thing you have to look out for, which you can probably see, it looks like it's green from the video, but as you go around, to the different sides, now you get pink, stuff like that. So that is because of the RGB lights. There's the 3 colors, and depending on which color combination you do, that's which lights are on. No, these lights are working great for what they are. They barely pull anything. Look over at my meter here. All the lights on, and actually, let me double check they're full bright. Oh, they weren't even up all the way. So full brightness, all 8 are pulling 1.3 amps, which is nothing. I have a 105 amp hour battery. I can run this thing for probably 40-ish hours before it would drain my battery. Based off the AUXBEAM battery, the 50% life. These are the lights, they're working great. I will, now that I've kind of situated these where I want them, I am going to put them permanently right there. Wire everything tucked into the panels. But I couldn't be happier. We're in the middle of the forest right now. It's pitch black if I turned all these off. And they provide all the light we need. So I'm happy with them. And install went real easy. The app works great. Yeah, apologize for the audio that cut out on the other ones, but hopefully I filled in enough. So that's pretty much it. I did put a link down below to AUXBEAM site, but they're always running sales. I did put a general coupon code down below. So if you want to use that, that is an affiliate link and it will help the channel out. So I do appreciate that. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. All right, see you on the next one.